Life Hacks Show. Life Hacks gives you proof hacks and tips for the best version of yourself. And here's your crash test dummy for a better life, Marcus Moirer.
Hey peeps, welcome to a new episode of the Life Hacks Show on the DNX podcast, and I'm really happy that I'm not alone taping this episode. I'm surrounded and I'm here at the table in Jericoacoara, Brazil with Tijana. Hey Tijana, welcome on the show.
Hey Marcus, thank you. So cool. Sitting here in Brazil together again.
Yes. So when did we meet the first time? I think
it was in Brazil 2 years ago. And then we keep coming to Brazil every year.
Yeah.
Cool. And we are making it more and more of a remote workplace, right?
Yeah, it gets better and better. Huh? We have this small tech shop here, Jericoacoara, and these two people, they're really passionate.
Finally we have people who know something about technology and internet connections. I was so happy when I met these guys. So we have some support regarding the infrastructure, and hopefully it's going to move forward. Yeah. And even more importantly, the community. Mm-hmm. That started happening last year, and I think we did a lot about that as well with DNX Camp, and this year it's just continuing, right? Yeah,
really cool. So you're one of the pioneers for living this location-independent lifestyle and being a remote worker. When did you start into this lifestyle?
It was somewhere end of 2010, and at that time I didn't know anything about the movement. I'm not even sure it was a movement yet. I think it was just like a few of us loners, people doing their own thing, not being aware of each other. For me, it happened spontaneously. My last office job was in Athens, in Greece. I'm a software engineer and now this product manager, so I work in IT. So I was working in an office. It was just a regular job. And during the weekends, I started learning windsurfing. That was my I feel like it triggered something that pushed me over the edge, because then I realized that the magic happens outside of the office, and that most of the time the wind doesn't work in Monday to Friday schedule, nor 9 to 5 for that matter. And very often I couldn't be on the beach when it's windy, when the conditions are the best, because I had to be in the office, which is 1 hour drive away from the beach and silly stuff like that. And in the same time, most of my clients and colleagues were actually not co-located. Mm-hmm. They were elsewhere in different countries, whatever. We just had this umbrella called company that made us stay in the actual building, although we were not actually working that much together. Even with the people who were present in the same company, we used all the online tools because it's actually quite natural for IT projects. And altogether somehow it dawned to me that it's all silly, doesn't really make sense. And since I watched some documentary about Jericoacoara and windsurfing here, this is how I came first year here in 2010. So this is my 7th season. I can't even imagine that this is happening. I'm almost living in a remote village in the middle of desert in Brazil, and doing my IT career in the same time. So I was here first time for a few months. It was kind of a prolonged vacation. When I quit my job, I was just living off my savings, but I liked it so much that I decided I need to find a way to make it more permanent, to make it my life actually, not just some in-between jobs thing. And at the time I was not aware of all the possibilities, or there were not so many possibilities like today to make money online. But when you want something, you know how they say, if you really want it, you find a way, if not, you find an excuse. So totally. I was Googling and trying to find some projects that I can do remotely. In the beginning it was a bit difficult to persuade people that you can still be a very responsible professional even if you live on a beach, because for many people it sounds that it doesn't combine well together. Actually it's quite the opposite. And yes, soon I started having even more work than I wanted, and I started earning more money than I used to in the office, and it was going pretty well. And I was like, okay, maybe after Brazil I can go somewhere else. After somewhere else it was somewhere else even more. And like 6 years later I just never stopped, and I don't even plan to stop. Obviously doesn't mean that I have to change hostel dorms every 2 nights or something like that, but just this feeling that you can live wherever you want and change that whenever you want, and just be free and it's just amazing. And we have this opportunity nowadays, and I am always trying to persuade people to at least consider it and think if it's a good choice for them or not.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think never before the times have been better than just taking a zip or dip into it and figure out if it's something
if it's for you or not. And it's really funny, like when we talk, like with you guys or many other friends who live similar lifestyle, and then sometimes I think if somebody would listen to our conversations, like I think I'm going surfing in Bali, then maybe I would go skiing to Austria, or maybe I should just spend a few weeks in New York. Like it used to be something that was reserved for really, really rich people who inherited money from their families or whatever. And nowadays, even for us, like mere mortals, it's possible to have this lifestyle that we can actually choose in which corner of the planet we want to be next, just based on climate or whatever, really. And it's an amazing luxury that almost anybody, well, not anybody, it would be maybe too much to say so, but a lot of us can have nowadays.
Yeah, from theory, I would say nearly anybody. It depends on the background a little bit or on the circumstances.
Okay,
more
I think
than
we
on
should
the
stick to the developed world, I guess,
Yeah.
because unfortunately there are a lot of people who are still struggling with potable water, right? But for people from the, let's say, developed world, I think it's definitely an option. Very, very feasible.
Definitely. So Jericoacoara in Brazil was your first escape after quitting your job? Did you already?
Yeah. I quit my job, came here, and I liked it so much that it became actually the only constant in my life. This is the only place where I go every year, and then the rest of the year I change locations. I always go somewhere else. But this is a place where I can have everything I want. I mean, I like water sports, windsurfing and kiting, and here we have one of the best spots for that in the world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the longest season, reliable wind, warm water, waves flat.
No wetsuit.
Like really, I mean, you're now into kitesurfing as well, and you can compare to other spots where you try that as well, right? It cannot be compared really.
No.
So that's amazing. Then you have this international community. I always say that we are like a little New York. You have people from all over the world. So even if you are in such a small place, you feel that you're meeting new interesting people every day. And also, as one friend of mine said, this is like a town of black sheep. People who she also lives here, she owns a business here actually, and I think it's really right what she said, because all the people who are like unconventional, out of box thinking people, these are the people who actually get attracted to places like this and communities like this. And it's just amazing, you just go with your kite harness in the post office or whatever, like it's so normal. And
so normal.
You don't feel lonely living this lifestyle. It's just perfectly normal, and it's really cool how now we live here in this condominium. So for people who don't know, we are 3 apartments at the moment, and some more friends coming, Miri, right, in a week or so. And we are all working on our balconies that are overlooking each other. So it's so funny because we see each other working at our computers and then getting our kitesurf gear ready. And like it's nice, this feeling that we are all living the same kind of lifestyle. And it's really cool. And of course, there are other people in the village as well, but we are here. So and I can see that over the course of past 6 years, things changed a lot. It's more and more accepted, this kind of lifestyle, which makes it so much easier. You don't need to explain yourself anymore to your, I mean, you still do sometimes, but definitely less, to your friends, family, colleagues, also people around you when you're traveling. It was so difficult sometimes to explain why you need electricity plug when you're in a restaurant or something like that. And nowadays it happens that actually the moment I enter, somebody's like, oh, this table have, like the waiters would like suggest, oh, this table has a really good connection or something, and because they already know that we are looking for that, and that's definitely easier nowadays. And then the communities like the one that you guys are creating, and our friends from Nomad Cruise and the other projects as well. So it's really cool. You really feel that the world is your home, and wherever you go, you meet friends. You can tap into the community immediately. You can get all the information needed, and good times for us.
Really golden times, and finally
we can't complain.
Finally it starts to make fun, because as you were mentioning before, that there was not really a community. Tropical co-working spaces were not invented when you started on the road. When I remember when we started, and having been on Bali for the first time, there was no Hubud, and they were the first ones who set up a tropical co-working space. So were completely different times. We had to explain ourselves a lot, and sometimes we had to defend ourselves.
In a way, defend, yes.
Yeah, not going away with them, wasting us, or doing party, because they didn't get the concept at all.
I think we were always the crazy ones. If you're back home, then all the people around you think you're crazy because you're living on the beach and stuff. Then when you're on the beach, there are all these people on vacation who think you're crazy because you're working. So we were always the crazy ones, and
the outsiders.
And it's kind of a relief, like feeling that there are like-minded people around you living the similar lifestyle.
This is what I really love, that we live so close together. So just across this apartment, then I can watch on your balcony, you can watch on our balcony, seeing Philly and me working, and then it doesn't feel so wired.
Because sometimes I do feel like everybody's on the beach, and now today I really have this deadline, I have to work, and then I really take a look at you guys and okay, I'm not the only one, there are other people working, and it makes it a little bit easier. And altogether, I mean, in life always community matters.
Yeah, and as you said, I think it's not about going to the beach every day or going on the water every day. Sometimes it happens, but just gives you the freedom to know you could go whenever you want. And then the desire just goes down, and you're more balanced and relaxed in what you're doing.
And you don't even push yourself that much. Like when you have like a 2 weeks vacation, and people really push themselves into being on the water for 5 hours, and they like literally destroy their bodies.
And which happened to our neighbor here. I don't know if you know it.
No, really?
He had an accident with his rib or something and couldn't go in the water for 5 or 6 days. He's just here for 2 weeks and was like...
You're like forcing yourself, and this way you have more of a balance because it's accessible to you anytime, and then you can just decide to have a day off. And
do you think this is also one of the reasons why windsurfing, or especially kitesurfing, is so popular among the digital nomads?
Well, first of all, these sports, with them it's complicated that you really need to be at the right time at the right place. So it's not like gym or dancing or something that you can easily do in a city in the winter or whatever. So if you have a regular job, if you are obliged to be at certain place at certain time, then it's difficult to practice this kind of sports. So for people who have this possibility like us, it makes sense. And also I think, like in my case, that pushed me into this lifestyle, and I also think it happened with many other people, because you had this desire to be on the beach, then you started thinking how you can change your life to make it possible. And also I think it's a great disconnection from the computer related activities, especially nowadays with all these facts and noise and communication and people and channels and the noises and notifications and whatever.
Calls and wants your attention.
And even if you have free time at home, it's like it never stops. Your smartphone is always beeping, and it's always something, and you cannot stop thinking. And very often I say, okay, now I'm finishing, and I start cooking or whatever, and then I think about something, I go back to the computer, I just cannot stop. But if I go on the water, that's it.
You're forced.
There is nothing else. It's just the wind, the water, the sun, and then I get completely disconnected. And it never ever happened that I came in from a session in worse mood and I got out of the water, right? So it always makes me feel so much better. And for me, it's the combination of sports and disconnection, and also in a way maybe even meditation, because you're so like in your own world in that time, right? Yeah,
you're totally like disconnected, as you were saying, and you're totally connected to the elements. You also started a movement which is called Follow the Elements.
Because it was actually what I've been doing all these years, like following the sun and the wind, and I think it really somehow resembles what we do in our life, like responding to ever-changing parameters. Like on the water, it's the waves and the wind intensity, or the gusts or the currents, and in life it's everything that changes around us, like in our personal life, or like business-wise. We were just talking 10 minutes ago how the things were changing on some big platforms, and like the opportunities are not there that they used to be, but new opportunities arise, and like always, that's life. And the same situation we have on the water, and I think it teaches us a lot.
Totally. And this is why you call it your community, your movement, follow the elements. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about this project.
Yeah, actually, it happened really spontaneously when I was in Bali, in Hubud. I was joined the Tribe Wanted group.
When was it?
And it was last year.
Okay.
And it was a kind of a mastermind group for entrepreneurs. And my first session with them was I was doing the introduction of myself, and then I was just saying the same story I'm saying now. Like I'm working as a freelancer remotely and following the elements around the world. And the Danielle, who was leading the session, she was like typing something at the computer, and then she turned the screen towards me and she said, $9.99 per year, buy the domain. And I was just shocked, but this is what happens actually when you have good community. People push you into the action. And so I was telling this story so many times, but she was the one who actually said, just buy the domain, Then I bought the domain. I started posting and blogging. Okay, that project is not active at the moment. I'm busy doing something else, but it was like a really nice example of the fact that the community can really push you to progress in whatever you're doing. And now when we have this, I used to think that maybe while traveling and living on the beach, I'm kind of missing out on having a more professional community around me, and that maybe because of that I'm not going to progress in my career or business that much. But nowadays that we have a community of location-dependent people and all these mastermind groups and events happening actually in tropical places, we can have that even when we live in our tropical paradises. So it's like a win-win. Definitely. Now with these DNX camps in Jerry, you can have that in Jerry. Last year we had a few mastermind sessions and talks, and this year same thing will happen. So you can actually sit in your villa on the beach and learn about digital marketing or whatever.
It's so cool.
And it's really cool. So now I don't feel anymore that I'm missing out on anything actually so much from the office life.
And what you were mentioning to me some days ago when we had a chat about connecting with like-minded people, especially with like-minded entrepreneurs who are on your level, you were mentioning something very interesting. That being
again the same thing. I used to think that if you are spending all of your time on the beach surfing and stuff, that there was this prejudice that you're going to spend your time with the so-called beach bums and people who without ambitions, and then you're going to slowly lose ambitions as well and just be less and less successful. But actually nowadays there are more and more people who are doing this kind of sports and living this kind of life and still being very smart, educating ambitions about their careers and businesses. I actually realize that sometimes I meet more interesting, successful people that I can learn from when I go to a kitesurfing spot than when I go to some tech event. It's really crazy, but it's happening. Sometimes I feel like the conversion rate is higher when I go to a kitesurfing place because there is this bit cruel filter. This is kind of an expensive hobby. So it means that in a way you did well for yourself in terms of your business and the organization of your life, and somehow the people are already filtered out. So I really met a lot of people who have really good businesses and who do really well, and from them I learned a lot about different skills and trends and strategies, and so again it's a win-win. So you can do really what you like doing, and in the same time you can influence your business and your career in a positive way.
That's so great,
again, we cannot complain.
No, same for me. I met so many inspiring people actually on the beach, at being at the ocean or hanging out in a kite sport, then trying to force it and going to tech meetups in big cities like Lisbon or in Berlin, where many aspiring people, but sometimes you need the people who are on the same level. And when you are hanging out in this kite spot, for instance, I met a very inspiring guy who will give a talk now on our DNX camp in some weeks, and I met him in Iyadogojiru, which is just a kite surfing spot. You can't do any more there.
Yeah, remember last year a few speakers that came to the DNX camp. Actually, I also met them here in Jericoacoara. So they were doing Amazon sales, and very expensive, very successful guys as well. This is actually what happens very often. So Yeah, it really means nowadays that you can live the lifestyle you want and you're not missing out on anything really in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And what I really like is that, the community is very supportive. Like you were mentioning, like, come on, register this domain and you're going to start something now and follow the elements. So I think it's still very, very supportive and everybody tries to help each other, especially
I like that I never
and
feel that people think of each other as competition. Which is really cool. Like you always get a lot of tips from people, and they're sharing their experiences. And I mean, the meetups we organize, it's very informal. Like we had last week, and I'm going to do another one beginning of November. It's like we have a drink, we just talk and give each other some tips, and it's really cool. Like almost every time there is somebody who says, I'm glad we spoke, now I have a completely different idea of this and that, and I can improve something, and it's
I know this guy, I can connect you to him. I have this
so it's actually
idea.
a very good networking opportunity, being in kitespots as well. So altogether highly recommended.
And I was thinking, will it ever stop or change somehow? Until I figured out at the point, I think it will never change that people support each other, especially in our Digital Nomad community, because most of the people have the similar mindset. And I think they orientate like giving first and then taking, or sharing your knowledge, giving everything you have and giving everything you know for free out, because it will come back and it will come back twice
definitely.
or three times
and
more.
in a way, this is how you also build your own authority within a field. And if you're already somewhere like on that way, I don't think it can happen that you lose your position just because some new people are coming. I mean, you already have your experience, and
I think so too.
I don't really feel it is a problem.
And being a digital nomad or working from everywhere for such a long time now, what is your opinion about the digital nomad movement? Did it change? It
definitely changed. First of all, it didn't exist at all in the beginning, so that was the biggest change. And I think there were also some phases when or there still are, maybe, like when it's a hype, and then everybody's trying to do that, even if it doesn't really
feel it, especially in winter in Germany or in Europe. I have the feeling that there's more interested and more hype.
But in the end, it all gets filtered out, and then people who stay are people who are really into that, because it is kind of extreme or radical or specific, so it's completely natural that it might not be for everybody, which is fine. But definitely I think that that's the future of work, like we like to say, and that more and more people will do it. And nowadays I really think that people who had bad experiences, I think it was mostly when they tried to work remotely with a company that is not remote, and then they were the only person who was somehow isolated from the rest of the team and the communication bonding, and then they felt bad, and they thought that they're missing out on some making connections and progressing.
Social stuff,
And yes, but if you work with a company that's fully remote, like I always work with fully remote companies, there is really no problem. We actually become friends over Slack and and stuff, and we have really good communication, and everything happens there using those channels. And I really think that's a big difference. And once more and more companies move into that, I think it will improve altogether. That's why in the beginning I was giving talks to people who are interested in becoming remote professionals, like giving them tips how to do that. I still do that, but then I started doing talks to oriented towards companies who want to go remote, and now I'm talking about managing distributed teams, because I think that's actually the source of the problems.
And this could be also the
solution. Exactly, and then the solution as well. If the companies know how to manage distributed teams and run the business remotely, then they will know how to lead those remote professionals who are maybe beginners in that area, right? So I somehow realized that that's actually even more important. So now I'm trying to focus more on that.
Cool. That's a great approach. Because I think the more companies get the idea, and once they see that they can really compete in the war for talents, because the best people now want to live location independent. They don't want to work in a cubicle and having fixed office times. And this is such a big asset for every company who needs talent, and every company is looking for talent. Once they get it, I think more and more companies will open for this
I'm also trying
approach.
on LinkedIn whenever I get an invitation for a job which requires relocation to reply not just that I'm not interested, but I'm not interested. I'm specifically working in location independent manner because I want these HR people or talent specialists or whatever to finally realize that they cannot demand relocation
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Time is over.
Yeah, that time is over.
Yeah, but I think it takes some time, especially the corporate world is very conventional.
Sure. But that's why we like working with startups and small companies who are way more agile and flexible. And
this is really cool. But we also run like a job board for location independent jobs, and we see that more and more companies now get it. And once they got all the applications, they're writing, wow, there's such a big talent on your platform. Thanks, we got so many applications. They're all so motivated. We have 3 more jobs we want to put on your platform. Can we put 10 more jobs? And I think this will, make the word will go around through the HR department for the companies. And then finally, we have a third entry point for working location independent, not just being working as a freelancer or starting your own business, also working like fully employed remote.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Coming back to Bali, what do you think about especially this magical island Bali? I had the feeling it really took over you, and then
it was really weird feeling for me because usually I stay on the beach, on the coast, in surfers town, and that time I stayed in Hubud. I stayed 3 months, even though I think I planned 1 month or something at the beginning, and I even ditched my plan for Sri Lanka, although I brought my kites with me. I was thinking to go to Sri Lanka after that.
Wow.
But it was just really different. First of all, just these surroundings, good, like the jungles, infinity pool and pools and these villas and the rice paddies and this amazing culture of local people. We lived for 3 months in a homestay with the family, and we really became friends. Like I was going to their daughter's birthday, and we're still in touch via email. And I always felt that they're so committed to their way of life, but in the same time so open towards everybody. So that's one interesting thing. Then the whole healthy lifestyle, healthy food and non-drinking policies on most of the parties, but not policy, but the habit, and yoga and stuff. And then Hubud, which is an amazing co-working space. I really like the community vibe they have there, and the community management that Vito is doing. I hope Vito's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, I will send him the link.
For sure. He's I was mentioning him in every co-working space around Europe. You really miss a good event management here.
Everybody needs a Vito.
Everybody needs a Vito. They're doing a new event every day or something, skill sharing. And every member is sharing something they know, other people learning from them. They're doing really good introductions in the community, and definitely this is what co-working space means to me. It's more than a desk and internet connection. This is what we have at home, but the community. And they are doing this really well, and I have to say that I think Europe is still behind. Most of the co-working spaces in Europe look like some office. You have 4 walls and a desk and really good internet, and you just go there and do your work, and I don't really feel any benefit, and I would rather stay at home in pajama or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So I really think that they should do more in regards to community and skill sharing. Co-working spaces are popping up. That's also nice. And now you have. I just read a few days ago about a new one in Cape Town and in many guide spots as well. And I also heard in Bulgaria in a skiing resort they're opening co-working space, and so you can now really combine the sports and work and everything.
There's no apologize anymore that you can't step into this digital nomad lifestyle, because there are so many already given communities in
it's
more
so
and more
spots.
Nowadays. It's so easy. People are supportive, and you can check in going to Chiang Mai or Medellin or Bangkok, and you have nearly daily meetups for online orientated people.
Yeah, you just come there and you're not alone.
Totally. Could Bali become one of your bases, or what is your opinion about Bali now? And are you following this concept of having different bases in different countries at all?
At the moment, yes, because after all these years of traveling, I kind of want to have this opportunity to stay in a place that feels like a base. Sometimes when I am too busy or too tired or whatever. So Jerry is definitely one of them. And also Lisbon became something like that because I spent this year a lot of time in Lisbon, and it's also a really good combination of a European capital city and really vibrant startup community, and in the same time beach life. Bali is also really great as a tropical place, and as I said, amazing community. But for me, the wind is what's missing.
Yeah. Same for me.
Actually,
I tried to surf in
I didn't
Canggu.
feel it while I was there, but after Bali, pretty soon I went to Tarifa.
Okay.
And then the moment I took my kite gear, I was like, yeah, this is what.
And you were
was
pulled
missing.
from the kite, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like this is what was missing. So, yeah, I have to say that's one important point, and we'll see. I mean, the things change so fast. I mean, even the places change so fast.
Yeah.
You go next time, and it's not the same like it used to be. Or so I cannot really predict what's going to happen. And actually, this is what I like. I like when things are unpredictable, and it's just fun. Que será, será.
Yeah, when things are in motion, you always like have to stay flexible and agile, and I love it. I think it's not for everybody. Maybe some people stress this out. But
well, for some people, that's out of the comfort zone. But I also say that for me, predictable lifestyle is out of the comfort zone. I always get really nervous when I know exactly what's going to happen in the next few weeks. Then it's really frustrating for me. I feel like I don't have the incentive anymore because it's just going the way it is, and so I like that. Yeah. So I like that the things are to keep my options open and to just follow what's happening and then just respond to these changes. And so I'm trying not to force myself to make any big plan, master plan, or anything like that, and we'll see.
It's cool that you mentioned before, like the crazy digital nomad chats we were having, like, oh, where do you go next? Maybe I go to New York, or maybe to the Caribbean, Jamaica, I don't know, maybe Bolivia or Peru.
Yeah, but sometimes these decisions are made based on like a little thing, like something somebody said, or just the spur of a moment. You get inspired because of something.
Totally.
The reason I went to Bali is because my friend in Singapore, who I visited on my way back from Philippines, told me that Bali is cool. So then I went to Bali on my way to Sri Lanka, and I never actually made it to Sri Lanka. And so,
this is how it happens.
How it happens.
I can remember when we checked into some weeks ago into this apartment, we were chatting about, okay, what's your plan next? And you were telling us, I don't know, in January, I just go with the flow. And we said, we too, we don't know.
But for many people, like that we talked, like on this meetup we had last weekend, we were sitting at a table, and with a lot of people we talked, and most of the people were like, I don't know when I'm going after Jerry, like I will see how I feel. So, I mean, I plan to go to Lisbon next year, and to Tarifa I plan to go, and what can happen in between, I don't know. I still think that like New York is on the list, but somehow it's not on my way, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, sometimes it helps just to have so many opportunities, and then if someone comes and gives you the right trigger for one opportunity, say, okay, now I'm prepared, because you already prepare for every opportunity. And when someone says, hey, I'm in New York, let's catch up, you say, okay, why not? Let's go to New York.
So we'll see.
And you also set up a company or a business in Lisbon, Portugal, right?
Yes. Well, I think that Lisbon is now one of the hotspots in Europe. For sure. I mean, you spend so much time in Berlin that Berlin used to be maybe like the only one in Europe in terms of startups and freelancers and stuff like that. But now I think Lisbon is also following.
And we are going there with our conference.
You're going there with your conference, and Web Summit is happening in a few weeks or something.
It's crazy.
And
it's
50,000 or something like that, and they signed a contract for 3 years with the Portuguese government. So they are really moving from Dublin for 3 years in Lisbon. I think that's going to change a lot. And the startup scene is already growing there. And as I said, the lifestyle over there is like for Europe, really great. I mean, with beaches and everything. So so I'm making kind of a European base for myself in Lisbon, and in addition to this one in Brazil, and we'll see. I think more and more people are now people who are like already like maturing in this lifestyle, realizing that you cannot literally be on the road every day.
No.
But having like bases all around the world makes sense.
I love this concept.
And then you know where you're spending your winters, where you're spending your summers, and
because at a certain point it's cool just to go on Amazon. You know, you can order some new stuff, or you have a storage somewhere where you can put some stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's really, really stressful.
Yeah. So
Lisbon is one of the options for you.
Yeah, it's kind of a European base. Yeah.
Cool. So you love the switch between the city lifestyle and going to lots of meetups. I think you went to lots of meetups when you
this year I joined a lot of meetups in Lisbon. There are really a lot of things happening there, and new co-working spaces are opening up. So I think when I go next year again, that it's gonna be even more vibrant. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see. Interesting. And you are doing the conference, right? Yeah, we are doing the conference. We are still looking into the locations. We have two options. We have this big cinema where this surf festival is happening. Okay. San Jose, I think, is it called? Maybe you heard about it. And then we have this location in the LX area. Yeah, LX Factory is cool. I think it's more like our style. Definitely, yeah. Yeah. The big challenge is that we have to carry all the technique there, the stage, the catering, the food, the seats for the people and everything. But at the moment we are figuring it out. Especially because we are also thinking about incorporating now in Cyprus and in Germany, and we have to fix out all this tech stuff. This is what we were talking also a lot. Like the world seems not to be prepared for us. So we have a lot of bureaucratic issues still. Mm-hmm. As you know, like companies, taxes, visas, residencies. For many things, like bureaucratic institutions still require physical address, and they insist on sending important papers to your physical address instead of doing this in e-format. And for people without address, it's really a mess. So you always have to ask somebody to scan it for you. Or something, and giving a power of attorney to all your friends and family and lawyers in every country and stuff. So it's really crazy, and I hope that will also change soon. I hope so. That we have it's just the system couldn't keep up with the change, with the revolution, especially the digital revolution. Yeah, it's really. So they are aware of it more or less. I think sometimes politicians are writing us emails asking some questions about the lifestyle because they want to get it, but then at the end you think, oh no, he didn't get it, because then you start to chat with them and they go on a Skype call with you, and then they ask questions where you, like with my mother sometimes I think now she got the point, and then she's asking one question where everything comes back and I say, oh no, she didn't, she didn't get anything of it, just pretended it. But yeah, I think it would be nice to have like just rules which can everybody follow, and it's not like now a lot in the gray zone and the mess, and everybody is trying and figuring something out. I think there are some good approaches from countries like Estonia with the e-residency, or supporting startups to open their company without being like physically there and open even having bank accounts and stuff. All this stuff. So there's something happening, and I think also Thailand is discussing an entrepreneur visa for freelancers. And also many countries now have this kind of freelance visa, Germany as well, and now in Portugal I'm doing the same thing, which is also great. So you can be self-employed and have the same rights as employed people. That's cool. Even as a foreigner, which is also cool. And just a slow process with all these bureaucratic institutions, but hopefully it's getting there. Yeah. And you're working as a freelancer? I work as a freelancer, so basically I'm invoicing my clients. Yeah. Which means you're working with companies who are not in the same time zone, right? Yes. It's actually one of the biggest challenges right now. I have teams and clients because I work with 2 different companies, and then people from all over in a time span of 10 hours. Wow. So like yesterday, I was working with the development team at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then meeting clients in California for from 6 to 8 p.m. So yesterday was quite a messy day for me. Whole day was something. But as I said, we cannot complain. I mean, all the other benefits we have, sometimes you just really need to get some stuff done. You get used to this. Yeah. Totally. It's just part of your life, huh?
you don't go to the office every day, but you have to care about, okay, I have to be on time for the meetups in Californian time.
Yeah, but like the other day, like I was having similar situation, but I had a few hours in between. So I just went to the beach, like windsurfing, having a sea, watching the sunset, whatever. And I was like, wow, this is actually such a great break. You know, if I would be doing this at home in the city, it would be maybe watching TV or something stupid like that. But here I just had the opportunity to have the most amazing break ever. So yeah, then I come home, do my call, fine.
Did you ever have any problems or experience with having the entrepreneurial burnout and don't finding the break anymore and closing your laptop? Even though
it does happen sometimes when you have these kind of days when you have the obligations throughout the day and you never really disconnect.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does happen. So I'm
always
trying to be aware of that, like mindful. And then when I see that's happening, like it happened like actually a few weeks ago, and then I talked with my teams and try to discuss that the calls we are having. I have like, for example, always in the morning, so they have my afternoons like completely offline. Then I can leave my phone at home and just go to the beach and stuff. And then like it helped a lot, because at one point it was like that I'm whole day connected, and even if you just have to reply with a short message, if you're doing this all day long, you're never really like getting rest, right?
Yeah.
So
totally.
so then I talked to them and then said, yeah, sure, let's try to organize the call so that you can like block your hours in a more efficient way, and then you can like off you go.
Off you go.
So but sometimes it's impossible because of time zones. But still, this is what was good today, because people are aware of these situations, and then you can actually say, this is not working out for me because of this and that, and then we try to find some solution. I guess it used to be, I know how it used to be before. You were always the weird one, and then people were not so happy about, arranging stuff according to you.
Yeah.
But nowadays, when everybody's living this kind of life, then it's normal to say, okay, you're in Japan right now, I'm in Brazil, let's try to find some time of the day when it's really good for both of us so that we don't suffer too much, So, yeah.
I also heard from some remote companies that they don't gather their teams anymore in like different offices like marketing, HR, design, but they are gathering them in time zones because it's easier for them to handle then.
Yeah, and also we are doing more and more things asynchronously. Like people who are in IT probably know about daily stand-ups and stuff. I like to use now bots for Slack, like Geekbot, which is prompting the team members 9 a.m. in their local time zones, which makes sense because if you're going to set a focus for the day, you should do this in your morning, not like when it's my morning and you're already like in the middle of your day or something like that. So with this bot, it happens when everybody has their morning locally.
So you're typing something into Slack, which is a team communication platform?
The bot is asking questions instead of me as a manager.
Yeah.
So when I get up and when I go online, I see the responses by the team members in a dedicated Slack channel for that. And then if I see that I need to follow up with something, then of course I do it as a human. But the bot does this work for me. Not only that it does this work for me, but I'm not annoying people at the odd hours, but actually they wake up in their morning and set the focus for the day with these status updates. So that's just one of the things, and there are so many other tools that can help us do our work in a better way. So
it's getting better and better, and the best thing is most of the tools are completely free, right?
Yeah, most of the tools are free or quite cheap or affordable. Anyway, affordable.
Affordable, huh? Even if you have to pay something for some tools, if you go for the pro version or bigger storage on.
It's usually like it's good that most of the companies now have free versions for small teams, like up to 10 people. So the startups, companies who are still not making profit, they can go for free. And once your company grows and you start making profit, it makes sense that you pay. So this is also quite fair solution.
Totally.
So we use those benefits as well.
You're originally from Serbia, right?
I'm from Serbia, yes.
Is it also a thing in Serbia? Is it popular somehow?
Well, in Serbia, IT is really huge. We have a huge outsourcing scene because of the difference in like salaries between Eastern Europe and Western Europe, and still the culture is the same, so you don't have all these problems like you might have when you work with professionals from different continents, right?
India.
So we are very, very popular among Western European and US companies, and there are a lot of outsourcing companies, but also nowadays people realize that they can just cut the middleman out and freelance with the clients directly. So that's happening more and more, and it's quite vibrant over there. And now also I think location dependent people go there just for living because it's still quite cheap. And people are really fun loving. So if you're like nightlife, definitely recommendable. So this year I was talking a lot to guys from remote here because they were in the same time with me in Lisbon, and they said that Belgrade is one of their favorite places now because it's cheap, it's super fun, people are friendly.
And I think they also opened a co-working space in Croatia, in Split or something.
There are a lot of co-working spaces as well, and that's cool.
Cool. So all over the world it's just progressing, huh?
Yeah, definitely. The world is our playground.
Cool. Yeah. Then I would say everybody who is interested in this lifestyle should be really motivated now, just to give it a go. And where can people find out more about you, or if people want to contact you?
Well, the website is in the progress. I think I definitely need to delegate that because I'm not making any progress really. But they can find me on Medium for the time being.
Yeah, we will link to your Medium account where you also have written really inspiring articles. I love it. Especially at the time, I think when you've been on Bali, you were focusing a lot on creating content.
And then I was making break from IT project, so I was blogging more. And now I don't have so much time, but I promised myself that I'm gonna continue doing that because I like that. It's sharing with the community, so it's totally always nice. Yeah.
And how long do you plan for the future, especially for your work life? Do you have any plans what you want to do in half a year, in 1 year?
Not really. At the moment, I think it's really cool to be in IT because, it's booming. There are so many interesting projects and stuff. And also the communities, that everybody is young and really motivated and enthusiastic. And it's just nice. So, and I like what I'm doing at the moment as a product manager because, especially with the small companies I work with, because I get to have the whole picture of the whole product, and it's really nice. Working with big corporation would be just having a little piece of something you don't even know what it is for.
Is it Scrum or what system?
Yeah, we use Scrum mostly. For managing the project, and so at the moment it's cool. But as I said, you never know. I don't see myself doing one thing for a really long time. So a few years from now, who knows?
I think this is also a very, very common attitude among the people, especially the younger people now. They don't want to be in the same job their whole life.
Because this is the best way to develop personally, right?
Yeah.
Professionally and personally, to always learn something new and try and follow the trends. And
Cool. Great. Thank you for your time,
Thank you,
Tijana.
Marcus. Great chat as always.
Yeah. And thanks for listening, guys. See you next time. Peace and out. Yes, yo, this was another episode of the Life Hacks Show. If you love what you're listening to and can use some of the tools and hacks we are sharing on the Life Hacks Show, I would be more than happy if you can give me a review or rating on iTunes. Follow me on facebook.com/MoiraMarcus and just ping me and give me some feedback that would mean the world to me. So long, have fun, peace and out.